Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the Utah Jazz, the training camp, obviously, like I said, it's picking up just about for everybody. I want to get into some things, some sights and sounds, because what I'm seeing from the Jazz right now is nice. Obviously, shout out to Ace Bailey. We're going to be discussing Ace. We all know that he went through a crazy situation. The draft process was just about a movie. Let's just keep it all the way 100. But what I will tell you is this about Ace Bailey. He is being led by NBA champion, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Love. So shout out to Kevin Love because Kevin Love could have made a big uproar about coming to Utah, but look at him, being a professional. I love what I'm seeing. Obviously, we're gonna get into the Utah Jazz training camp because there's a lot of people who I want to discuss. I'm very excited for even the start of training camp. Give credit to Laurie Marketing. You hear a lot of talks about the situation with the Jazz. Obviously, they didn't pick up the center option. We're going to get into that in a second. But there's a lot of things swirling right now with Utah, but the team seems to be intact. Everybody seems to be pretty much, on one accord, and give them major props for being like that because in a situation where the contracts is just all over the place, it could be a situation where all hell could possibly break loose, and clearly that has not seemed to be the case. But what I will tell you is this. I want to get to Ace Bailey and him basically cutting ties with his management. What was it? The Cooper situation. And I don't blame him because you got to get rid of Omar Cooper. Omar Cooper basically, put you in a situation where he didn't really want to be. He is a professional. He's not going to cause an uproar about, being in Utah now that he's here, But let's keep it real. He could have went to other destinations, I don't know what was the market employee. He must have promised him something, and for him to cut ties with him, it shows you that whatever his plan was that draft night, it went terribly wrong, and they ran into Danny Ainge and company, and they wasn't just going to let him slide off. And I mean, you can't blame him because you in Utah, you're a kid from Atlanta, you wanted to be in the East Coast. You could have been in Charlotte. Obviously Charlotte went with Con Knipple. Con Knipple, I believe, is going to be a great player for the Charlotte Hornets, but Ace Bailey could have been in the Queen City a couple of hours away from home. Atlanta, Charlotte, that's right down the block. So I just find it very crazy, the fact that he did not want to even entertain going, to the Charlotte Hornets. I still find that very troubling, and that's why he had to cut ties with him because, to be honest with you, if he told the Charlotte Hornets that he wasn't going to be there, and you come to find out that basically this guy he wanted to go wherever, but the management and representation is making it seem like he's just married to these specific teams. So I find that wild. But if you Ace Bailey and you have an opportunity to be taught and led by the likes of a Kevin Love, listen, Kevin Love won an NBA championship. Let's keep it all the way real with the people, and he played a pivotal role on that basketball team. I know Love at this point, man, he doesn't have to go ring searching. He already won already. Kevin Love already was the man in Minnesota. He went to play. We seen everything we need to see from Kevin Love. It is no knock for Kevin Love to play for the Utah Jazz and help elevate some of these young players. Not just Ace Bailey. They have other players on this roster who could possibly be taken to another level. And Kevin Love is going to be able to bring all of that to life. So I definitely want to give props to Kevin Love, for not just, screwing around with the Utah Jazz. I repeat, he easily could have held out here and tried to get a buyout, because when he initially came there, the report said that they were going to be working on a buyout. They was going to be doing this. They was going to be doing that. Something tells me that he was approached, and they are going to navigate this whole Utah Jazz situation a little bit differently, at least hang out here until possibly the trade deadline, and get to another destination. I think that's going to be key, for Kevin Love, and you want to play ball with Utah. You don't want to come here and start poo-pooing on the whole situation and they have to, do something crazy to you where they don't. I think that if he plays the right way, comes here, leads these young players, show them what it's like, to be a professional. By the trading deadline, I believe he will be possibly on a contender, maybe the Houston Rockets. He will be on maybe the Lakers, the Clippers, Dallas. I see a situation where Utah will take care of him. I see the same thing for guys like Lauri Markkanen. Come here, do the right thing, and I believe that they're going to take care of these guys who come here and they do what they're supposed to do for the time being. Lauri Markkanen, if you look at the Jazz, the Jazz are not looking to compete. That Stevie Wonder could see that. They have stockpiled all of these young players. You have to let these young players blossom, and that's why I see the Utah Jazz really seem like they have 1 foot in and 1 foot out on some of the people who they want, on this whole team. I just got to keep it real with you. As I'm looking at this roster, what to be honest, what are they going to sell, in a playoff setting? That's why you hear Walker Kessler possibly being, walked out the door. Why don't you bring back Walker Kessler? I think that he is a young player, but something about him seems like he doesn't fit the timeline of these younger players. I think Kessler, for whatever reason, he's 24 years old. He may start to enter his prime a little bit faster than Utah would like. Something tells me Utah wouldn't mind losing for another 2 more years, possibly 3. So guys like Kessler, Markkanen, they're going to challenge that. And listen, don't let Utah get off to a decent start by mistake. I think they're gonna cut their losses real quick with some of these people. So let's see. It's the Wild Wild West. Shout out to Walter Clayton Jr. You got Isaiah Collier. All of these young players are going to play a pivotal role. Kyle Filipowski. Listen, the Utah Jazz, to me personally, I think they're going to be a shock team. Keontae George, to me, he's one of the most underrated players in the league. We are going to get an opportunity to see what he looks like. But guys like Jusuf Nurkic, players like that, Kevin Love, these guys are going to pay huge dividends in Utah. I'm going to leave it at that. It's Flight Sports TV. Peace and love. You already know what it is. Make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button.